Hello there, my name is Michael. You probably know me already if you're watching this. I've just decided to do a little project for myself, 1 or 2 videos, who knows what happens. Just talking about video games really. Whatever this turns into, I've decided to call it Bulletsponge, because that's basically what I am in any video game I play. And for this one, I'm just gonna kind of lay out my favorite games for last year. I'm a bit late with this, life happens. But anyway, let's get to it. So, 2020, bit weird for everyone. It was different for me in the aspect that I had a daughter in September 2019. That kind of changed my gaming habits significantly. Lucky enough, they didn't disappear, but I kind of had to approach gaming in a bit of a different way this year. I'm going to kind of list out some of my favorite games of 2020. Doesn't necessarily mean that they came out in 2020. It's just what I had fun playing. So with that in mind, I'm first going to try out some honorable mentions, just some stuff that I really enjoyed. Might mention some stuff I didn't enjoy as much as I expected as well. So starting out with a big one, The Last of Us Part 2. I got this game on release, was really excited for it, really loved the first one, amazing game. I found that when I played it, I came out of playing it stressed every time. Because of that, then I would doubt myself and feel anxious about playing it next time. It's not to say I didn't enjoy it, I thought I played it really well, the stealth mechanics were fantastic. You get caught, you go back into stealth, you figure it out. Fantastic gameplay. But I found it a real struggle to actually go and play a session and enjoy myself. Because of that, I did stop playing it about 10 hours in. But it is something I would consider revisiting down the line, that's for sure. Up next is Dirt 5. I'm actually still playing this at the moment. I got the Xbox Series X in November. When you get a new console, you kind of have to get a racing game to go with it. It's a bit of a rule. I'm still enjoying it. There's a few niggly bits with it, like the commentators and podcasters in it get kind of annoying very fast. And there's 2 events that cause a difficulty spike: the ice racing and the dirt oval. They're just way more difficult than any other event in the game, which kind of gets annoying after a while. But it looks amazing, it feels fun, it's found a nice middle ground between sim racing and arcade, which I really appreciate. Yeah, so I'll keep going with that. My last shout out was for Art of Rally. I picked this game up on a whim. The aesthetic of it kind of makes you feel like you're about to sit into a nice relaxing experience, but what you actually get is unexpected depth in a game that, in my mind, truly captures and makes me think of vintage rally in a way that a 28-year-old probably shouldn't be able to. So on to the actual games of the year for me. Coming in at number 5 is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 remakes. Simply put, I think these are some of the best remakes that ever come out in my mind. They captured the feel of the old games perfectly and made them look great by today's standards. What more can you say about those original games that came out on the original PlayStation in '99 and 2000 that hasn't been said already in the years since they've come out? They made us feel like we could all go out on a skateboard and do double kickflip off a ramp and just land perfectly, no issue, when in reality I would struggle to stand on a board without falling over. And they made Tony Hawk a household name. They're just brilliant. So number 4 is actually a late entry for me, and it's technically 2 games. It's Hitman 2, but it includes levels from Hitman 1. So I played last year, but I never actually finished it, so I decided to go back and finish it in late December of last year. The way these games give you a helping hand to figure out the correct ways to complete levels and kill your targets is really fun, but then when they drop you into the detailed maps that they have, it's kind of hard not to deviate and maybe throw the exploding golf ball at your target instead of making them hit it with a golf club. The way they lay out the challenges and mission stories in this game gives so much reason for replay. And Hitman 3 out at the end of January is actually probably the perfect jumping in point for anyone who hasn't played them, because if you get the right pack, you can actually play all 3 games in Hitman 3 brilliant. So number 3 is actually quite a strange game for me. Slay the Spire. It's not actually the kind of game that I would normally go for. The game came to Xbox Game Pass some point in 2019, so I thought I'd give it a go. And now hundreds of hours across numerous platforms, and a year later, I still play this game a few times a week. It's a deck building rogue-like game that has 4 characters, very simplistic design. The characters are they're differentiated with their kind of traits and the relics in the deck that each one can get. You proceed through a map that normally diverges in 3 or 4 ways as you try and make your way 1 card battle at a time to slay the Spire. I played this game. Actually, this game kind of grabbed me in the week leading up to my daughter's birth. Me and my partner Andrea, we would pass the Switch and take turns doing runs, seeing who could get further. Because of that, the game will probably always hold a special place in my heart due to the memories that I have associated now with that. Number 2 for me is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's a very Mike Lowden, a rockstar extraordinaire Bulletsponge game. I've always been a fan of Assassin's Creed, and this game has a Viking side to it, which I kind of have an affinity for. I think that comes from the fact that I come from a Viking settlement town up Wexford. I was a massive fan of Assassin's Creed Origins, and I would probably say it was my favourite Assassin's game till now when I played Valhalla. The nice thing about it was the combat was difficult enough. It wasn't just button mashing, but it was easy enough that it wasn't too difficult to play, like something like Sekiro or any of the Souls games. The exploration normally ended in something fun, like nice references to the Prodigy, or stumbling across a Viking that thinks he has a hangover but actually has an axe buried in his head. And it all made it for really satisfying to just go around this little small shrunken map of England and see what you could find around the corner. I completely finished this game. It's including assassinating all the Order of the Ancients that you're sent to look for. And I'm just really looking forward to the DLC this year, which is apparently based in Ireland. It's the number 1 for me, and my personal game of the year is actually Call of Duty Warzone. So I went in on Call of Duty Modern Warfare back in 2019 to check out the campaign. I found myself really enjoying the multiplayer in the end, probably for the first time since probably Modern Warfare 2 came out. Warzone then released on the 10th of March, which is the same week that Ireland went into lockdown for the first time. This is Call of Duty's second take on Battle Royale, I think. It's my first time ever really going in on a Battle Royale game properly. And in my first game I came in second, luckily enough. And that was that. I was hooked. It took a long time to get anywhere near it ever again. It's not just how challenging and fun the game is, though. It gets very intense towards the end and everything like that. But as you're going through it, there's a lot of downtime and a lot of time to talk and conversations and fun to be had with whoever's on your team. And it's kind of that social interaction and time when you couldn't actually do that physically in person. It felt very important. Just even for my mental health in a time when face-to-face interactions just weren't happening, and that kind of just really made it stand out this year for me, and I put a lot of time into it because of that. Yeah, that's my game of the year. That's it. That's my little video on my games of the year. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing this or what you're actually watching this on, but if you like it, give it a like, I guess, or give it to someone, show it to someone who you think might be into it. If not, so be it. Thanks.